You know that feeling of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, always trying to control everything, worrying about what others think, or striving to be perfect all the time? Yeah, I get you. We get stuck in this exhausting cycle of anxiety, fear, and frustration, and it just keeps holding us back. But what if I told you that true freedom, real peace, begins when you let go? When you finally release everything that's weighing you down, drop those unrealistic expectations, and learn to live lighter, more present, and more connected to yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how. We'll dive into accepting your emotions, easing up on the control, and turning that anxiety into genuine calm. Because here's the truth. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to make everyone happy. And you definitely don't have to carry a burden that isn't yours. You just need to let go and start truly living. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, imagine this. We all have this old version of ourselves hanging around. You know, the one that's always super scared, doubting everything and blaming itself for every little thing that goes wrong. Sound familiar? Yeah, that version loves to stick around, refusing to let us change or fully step into our true selves. I used to feel that way too, all defensive, blaming myself for stuff, and just getting lost in the same exhausting cycles. But guess what? There's actually a brain-based reason for why we do this. If you're enjoying this journey and finding value in what we're talking about, why not take a second to subscribe to the channel? And hey, if this content is resonating with you, go ahead and give it a like. It really helps spread the message. Also, if you want to support us and be a part of our growth, consider becoming a member. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful content for you. And don't forget, I love hearing from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, questions, or even your own experiences. I make sure to read and respond to every single one. Let's keep this conversation going. Here's the thing. There's a tiny payoff from hanging on to negative habits, even when they seem awful. Let's say we do something that makes us feel guilty, like binge watching something we shouldn't, or picking up a bad habit. That guilt kicks up this stress hormone called cortisol. And believe it or not, that cortisol actually gives us a false sense of control. It's like our brain is tricked into feeling more alert, but in a stressful fight or flight kind of way. The problem? Staying in that anxious state messes with our immune system, draining our energy and keeping us on edge. It's like our body is preparing for a tiger attack, even though the danger is all in our head. Now, this constant stress state may have been helpful, like thousands of years ago, when survival was the name of the game. But today, we're not exactly running from lions in the wild, are we? Yet, our brains haven't quite caught up. Let me share something kind of personal. I've gotten comments from people saying things like, "You don't smile as much, you seem sad." And honestly, that kind of comment highlights how much society pushes this idea of always be happy. But that's not life, right? Neuroscience even backs this up. There are studies showing that when we acknowledge all of our emotions, the whole mix of sadness, joy, frustration, it's actually healthier for us. They call it emotional granularity, which basically means becoming super aware of what you're feeling and not running away from it. The more we do this, the more we find peace. And let's get real. We're facing a serious crisis with depression and anxiety, especially among men. There's so much pressure to keep that happy mask on, like the guy who's always smiling and seems fine until he's not. I've had people, including well-known artists, reach out to me, admitting they feel trapped, battling inner demons no one sees. We need to talk about this. The idea that fame or constant good vibes will make us truly happy, that's one of the biggest lies out there. Speaking of lies, there's another one. The idea that we should aim to feel joy every single second of our lives. Nope, sorry. That's not just unrealistic, it's harmful. What we can aim for, though, is inner peace. And sometimes, peace comes from just being. accepting everything as it is. There's a powerful book called 1,000 Names for Joy, where the author talks about finding peace, even in the worst situations imaginable. It's all about using hardship as an opportunity to grow. And yeah, I gotta mention spiritual growth here, even if it makes some people uncomfortable. And by spirituality, I don't mean religion. Someone once called me out, disappointed that I was talking about it. But hey, spirituality is different. It's about something bigger than us, and science actually supports it. Neuroscience even shows that a sense of connection or spirituality can boost well-being. For me, I find inspiration in all kinds of philosophies, whether it's Christian wisdom or Buddhist teachings. It's not about following one strict path. It's about finding what brings you meaning. So here's the takeaway. Life isn't about chasing happiness like it's some kind of endless high. It's about understanding and embracing all of your emotions, feeling them, learning from them, and growing. And above all, let's be real. Question everything, even what I'm saying here, and use it in a way that works for you. Because in the end, it's your journey, your path to peace and transformation. All right, let's break this down and keep it real. So, imagine you're an atheist. No biggie, right? It doesn't change anything. You don't have to believe in a higher power to practice these ideas. Because here's the truth. Spirituality isn't about religion or some deity floating in the sky. It's deeper. It's about connecting with yourself, growing and learning through every experience, good or bad. Cool? Cool. So let's keep rolling. Now, have you heard of this Stoic idea called amor fati? It's this beautiful, simple philosophy that means love your fate. Yeah, not just accept it, but love it. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Think of it this way. When you learn to love everything that comes your way, life becomes a series of lessons instead of obstacles. It's like a built-in superpower for protecting your peace. I have this funny story. The other day, I was in an Uber with my buddy Zika. He booked the ride, and I slid into the back seat, all cramped up. I asked the driver if he could adjust the seat a bit, and he just snapped, saying, "No!" I was like, whoa, what just happened? Apparently, he was ticked off because I hadn't greeted him properly when I got in. Honestly, I was just in a hurry, you know? I didn't mean any harm, but he ended up kicking us out of the car, all because I'd asked for more space. Yeah, I could have gotten mad, and trust me, I was tempted, but then I thought, wait a second, maybe he's having a rough day. Here's where the Stoic wisdom kicked in. Amor fati reminded me, instead of assuming the worst, what if I chose to see it differently? I mean, I could have been more polite, sure, but maybe he was carrying around a bunch of stress, like a garbage truck full of negative energy. So instead of getting upset, I learned something. Always greet people with a warm good morning or good night, because that little act of kindness can change the vibe of an interaction. Simple, right? That's what loving your fate is all about. You see, most of the pain we experience isn't from what happens to us. It's from how we interpret it. We assume bad intentions, and boom, we're miserable. But if you change how you see things, you protect your peace. It's all about loving every experience and learning from it, even the awkward, messy, or painful ones. Now, here's where it gets interesting. People are carrying around so much emotional junk. Anger, fear, frustration, or sometimes just feeling totally numb, like in a low-energy state. We crave these quick dopamine hits, whether it's through binge-watching, swiping for matches, or chasing after money and status. There's this obsession with physical beauty and fast gratification, and people get stuck in that cycle. To level up emotionally, you need courage. Seriously, courage is the gateway emotion. If you're down in fear or anxiety, at some point, you have to take a leap of faith. Picture this. You need to jump over a wall, but you're terrified. So, what do? You throw your favorite shirt over the wall first, and now you have to jump to get it back. That's courage in action, pushing you to move from fear to something greater. Artists and performers know this feeling well. Before going on stage, they get that nervous, anxious energy, but instead of letting it freeze them up, they flip the script. They call it excitement. Words matter, my friends. Instead of saying, "I'm anxious," try, "I'm excited." It's the same energy, just reframed. See how that works? Our language shapes how we feel, so pick your words as intentionally as you pick out your clothes. And once you find that inner peace, it's like a domino effect. Courage lifts you out of frustration or anger and leads you to love and, eventually, peace. Real, lasting peace. But let's clear something up. True love isn't the sappy, needy stuff we see in movies. Nope. It's about healthy detachment, an openness to everything life throws your way. Amor fati is like saying, "Bring it on, life. I'm ready, and I'm gonna love the lesson." Even when you're feeling low, like sadness creeping in, you can still practice this mindset. You learn from every emotion, then let it go. And here's a powerful reminder. We're all going to leave this world eventually. It sounds heavy, but the Stoics called it memento mori. Remember, you're going to die. It's not morbid, it's freeing. It reminds us to not take everything so seriously. We're here for a blip, living through these human avatars. Maybe, just maybe, our consciousness is tuning into something much bigger, like how a radio picks up a signal. So why not love your fate, embrace the ride, and use every moment to grow? Because in this crazy, beautiful experience of life, every moment matters, even the messy ones. So here's the thing. When you finally get that you're just an avatar playing a role in this world, it changes everything. Life suddenly feels lighter. You stop stressing over the small stuff and start practicing healthy detachment. It's not that you don't care about things, it's more like you're learning to let them come and go without clinging on. You feel sad? Okay, interesting. Why is that? You feel frustrated? What's up with that? It's like getting curious about your own emotions instead of drowning in them. Like, let me tell you about this one time. So, there's this girl I've always thought was interesting, but she lives in another city, so we barely ever talk. Recently, I found out she started dating someone and bam, instant pang of fear, that deep-seated loneliness kicking in. And you know what? That feeling is totally normal. But when I dug a bit deeper, I realized it wasn't just about her. It's a more ancient fear, a pressure to meet expectations from our parents, grandparents, or even society. It's wild, right? We carry around these intergenerational traumas that shape how we feel, even when we're not conscious of it. Here's a harsh truth the world keeps feeding us. We're told we have to be in a relationship. We have to be perfect, always smiling, never feeling down. And let me be real, that kind of thinking just messes us up. It stops us from processing our emotions and leaves us feeling disconnected and empty, chasing those quick dopamine highs, whether it's through money, casual relationships, or social validation, never fills us up. It's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It just makes you more dehydrated. But here's the magic. When you start getting real with your emotions and processing them, your mood starts to stabilize. It's like your brain can finally take a chill pill. No more living in that constant cortisol-fueled stress state where you're always on high alert, anxious and restless. Ever notice how stress screws up your sleep? That's because rest is about letting go. And that's why things like meditation and mindful breathing work so well. They help you let go. That's right. Let's do something together right now, just to prove this point. I want you to pause. Yep, right now. And let's take 3 deep, diaphragmatic breaths. This type of breathing isn't just some wellness trend. It literally engages your vagus nerve, which is like your body's chill-out button. It turns on your parasympathetic system, that calming side of your nervous system that helps you process emotions and feel more relaxed. So, let's do it. Inhale deeply, fill your belly, and then exhale slowly, making that exhale longer than the inhale. Feel that? It's your body shifting gears, dialing down the stress and dialing up the calm. The more you practice this, the better you get at calming your mind and body, making space to actually feel and process what's going on inside. This is important because today, a lot of people, especially men, are so stressed out that they struggle with everything from anxiety to physical health issues. You know, there are guys out there relying on tadalafil for ED, not because there's something wrong with them, but because they're living in this never-ending fight or flight mode. Cortisol and constant stress mess with your hormones, and it's a vicious cycle of pleasure-seeking and stress. So take a moment, breathe deeply, and remember that real peace doesn't come from external stuff. It comes from within. The more you understand this, the more you realize how interconnected everything is. Your brain, your body, your emotions, all part of one big complex web. Fear, attachment to the past, clinging to people and things, all of that comes from the illusion that life is permanent. But news flash, it's not. Nothing is. We don't get to take any of this with us when we leave this world. So, what's the point of clinging so hard? Maybe it's about enjoying life, learning from it, and just playing the game. You know, having fun, growing, and embracing every up and down along the way. Life is way too short to take too seriously, so maybe, just maybe, it's time to let go and live it fully. You know when you're playing a game you really love, you're just so into it, present and having fun, but you're not treating it like life or death. You're not forcing yourself to smile the whole time. You're just there, enjoying every moment. That's how life should be, right? Fully engaged, but not so heavy. Let's take those 2 more deep breaths together. Ready? As you inhale, fill up your lungs, and this time when you exhale, imagine blowing out through a straw, slow and steady. It helps stretch out that exhale, calming your whole system down. Let's do it again. Deep breath in, and blow out through the straw. Feel that? Your nervous system is chilling out and you're probably feeling a bit more relaxed now. I want you to take that sense of calm and carry it into everything you do, your relationships, your work, even your little everyday moments. And here's the thing, remember that we're all connected. Sounds cliché, but it's true. When you're interacting with people, try to be kind just for the sake of being kind, not because you want something out of it. Trust me, when you start showing up with no expectations, your sense of purpose naturally begins to take shape. Speaking of purpose, let's chat about ikigai. It's that idea of having a reason to get out of bed in the morning. But hey, don't get all stressed out thinking you need to find some huge, world-changing mission. Relax. You don't have to save the planet or be some hero. In fact, I used to have a serious savior complex. Make everything better for everyone. But that kind of thinking just paralyzes you, makes you feel like a failure before you even start. And yeah, we're living in a world that loves to idolize people. It's so easy to get caught up in worshipping politicians, influencers, or whoever. Where we even have this gambling culture now, promoted by influencers. People blow their money on betting platforms, hoping for that one big win. It's engineered to be addictive, like a sneaky dopamine trap. Meanwhile, a few people are getting insanely rich, and the rest are left scrambling, with an economy that feels more unstable every day. It honestly breaks my heart. Social assistance money being gambled away, billions of dollars ending up in the hands of a few who give nothing valuable back to society. It's a recipe for chaos. So please, for your own sanity, stop idealizing people. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Let go. Life gets easier when you stop taking it so seriously. And you know the one thing that makes it all manageable? Love. Amor fati. Universal love for everything and everyone. Not that superficial Hollywood romance kind of love, but the deep, unconditional kind. And look, I'm never here to sell you the idea that you need a product, course, or some magic thing to feel whole. Nope, you're already complete as you are. But if you ever choose to invest in something, make sure it's worth it. Something that adds real value to your life. Be wise about your money. Know the difference between spending on cheap thrills and investing in your well-being. Ask yourself, what's the long-term value of a happier, more peaceful you? It's not about falling into extremes, like thinking every course is a scam or that every investment will solve all your problems. Be discerning and make decisions that serve you. So here's my final thought. Don't let life weigh you down. Laugh at your thoughts when they get too serious. Notice your feelings, get curious about them, and start developing emotional granularity. Life is an illusion, a game we're all playing. So let go. Love deeply, live lightly, and let yourself find more peace and joy in this crazy, beautiful experience. You got this. All right, so here we are, wrapping up this journey together. Remember, life is meant to be experienced fully, but lightly. It's about letting go of the need for perfection, dropping the weight of other people's expectations, and embracing each moment with curiosity and peace. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that real freedom comes when you let yourself go. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I truly appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video and it brought you any value, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It helps so much and lets us grow this community together. And hey, if you know someone who could use this message, someone who's carrying a bit too much stress or needs a reminder to breathe and let go, share this video with them. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Drop your thoughts, questions, or even share your own experiences. I make it a point to respond to every comment, so don't be shy. I'd love to connect with you. Until next time, take care, keep breathing, and let go. You got this.